Before I pass on the title of CCA Chair, I'd like to say a few words. Firstly, I would like to sincerely thank the 2020 Board, Committee, and Council members, CCA President Mary Van Buren, and her staff for their support. As I reflected on the past year, I referred back to what we had hoped to achieve together. And that included a focus on the evolve pillar of our strategic plan. In particular, our priority was to embed the new governance and member engagement model to strengthen the three-way value between CCA, provincial and local construction associations, and to retain and broaden membership. The video has covered a lot of what we've accomplished together. We should all be extremely proud of these accomplishments, especially through such an extraordinary time. We have made tremendous inroads in aligning our advocacy messages, the value of investing in infrastructure, the need for economic stimulus, for free trade, and fair procurement. But there is more work to be done in communicating the value of what we do to our members, many of whom remain unaware of what we do. The reimbursement of COVID-19 costs alone, a value of some $24 million to date, is a tangible example of the power of the CCA, backed by our 63 partner associations and 20,000 member firms. All associations were tested this year, and some understandably found it challenging to quickly pivot to deliver value in an online virtual world. CCA is working on its value proposition and how we can better serve our partner associations and member firms today and in the future. I look forward to the outcome of this working group and am confident that we can and will deliver more value. With over 300,000 firms in construction in Canada, surely we can grow the pie for all. It has been an honor to serve as chair and to be a member of CCA's board for close to 10 years. This association has had many incredible individuals volunteer their time and talents in betterment of the industry. This year's board is no exception. Like previous board members, they're all engaged, committed, and passionate about the industry. They embraced the new governance model, carefully considering each other's perspectives and always keeping member-focused and strategic in their decisions. They were a pleasure and honor to work with. Mary and her staff have performed with excellence in carrying out the business of the association in this new virtual world. We have all been very well served by their dedication, commitment, and innovation. As I already noted, they have been a great support for me, and considering the time difference with me on Pacific time, very kind with meeting times. Hopefully vaccine rollouts will occur soon enough to allow some in-person gatherings over this next year, and I will be the only completely virtual CCA chair. As chair, I've seen how the role deepens the connection to the success and health of the association. Because of this, I knew that I could call in any or all of the past chairs for council. John Boxstall, Chris McNally, Gil Brulot, and Anibal Valente were particularly helpful. Thank you, my friends. I need to thank my wife, Barb, for her loving, enduring support, especially in this pandemic year, because without any time to ease into it, I moved my office into the house and became 100% underfoot overnight. To all our member firms, partner associations, and affiliates, thank you for not only for your trust and support of me this year as chair, but more importantly for our national association as it continues to evolve to stay current and relevant. We have shown that when we work together with purpose and focus, we can achieve great things. The pandemic has pushed us into the adoption of technology faster than we had planned. It has also shown us the power of collaboration and the strength of our collective voice. Let's leverage the lessons learned to continue to strengthen our association, improve the industry, and build a better Canada.
Ray, it's now time for me to pass the gavel. I do so knowing that the CCA will benefit from your strategic thinking, your deep knowledge of the industry, and your inspiring leadership. Having the pleasure to work more closely with you these past few years in an officer role, I've come to very much appreciate your keen mind, incredible wit, and something that I hope we can sustain, your friendship. Thank you. It is with great confidence that I pass to you, Ray, the Canadian Construction Association gavel, the official symbol of the CCA Chair's authority.
Thank you, Joe. On behalf of CCA, I'd like to officially welcome you as an honorary life member of the Canadian Construction Association. You were sent a pin to confer this special status as past chair of the CCA, which I know you will wear with pride. Everyone, please join me in showing your appreciation for Joe in the chat rooms. Joe, I've shared this with you personally, but I invite everyone to think back over the years of your involvement in CCA, and especially the last couple of years. With your guidance of the Governance Renewal Working Group and working with past Chair John Boxtel through that transition in 2019, and then your steady hand on the tiller as chair through an extraordinary year in 2020, the positive influence you've had on the CCA and our industry is probably more than you realize. On behalf of the members, staff, and stakeholders of the CCA, I'd like to say thank you. As a small token of appreciation, we've sent a gift that I hope you and Barb will enjoy. And Jan and I look forward to a time soon when we can all be together, share a drink, tell stories, maybe even get you to play us a tune on your guitar.
Thank you, Ray, and thank everyone at CCA for this wonderful gift. I'm extremely humbled by it. It's something that I've wanted for many years, probably well over 10 years. I've been looking for a guitar of that make and model. It was CCA that actually initiated my guitar playing at a conference. Went to one of the sessions, and I learned from that session, if you ever wanted to do something in life, yes, you could have started years ago, and might have been better to start years ago, but the next best time is now. And so from that point on the trip home, I made the decision to start to learn how to play the guitar, and I've been doing it ever since. I'll remember and think fondly of CCA and this particular year, each and every time that I get a chance to play it. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say it enough. It's much appreciated, and I'm just humbled. Thanks.
Members of CCA, colleagues, partner association staff, it's a great honor for me to chair the CCA board for the next year. I've been privileged to serve on the board since 2010 and can say that while I've done my best to contribute what I can over the years, the decency, generosity, professionalism, and energy of the industry has given me more than I could ever repay. I'd like to spend just a few minutes this afternoon on two of CCA's strategic priorities, but I'd like to start with an observation. In our 102-year history, the CCA has been the place where the Canadian construction industry comes together. With a diverse membership and stakeholders from all sectors, regions, and all sizes and scales, CCA is the place where the many voices and interests within our industry come together to network, to learn from each other, discuss important and sometimes controversial issues, and pursue new ideas. We find the balance and compromises at our own industry table, and then deliver clear, unified messages on national issues for our industry. I think this is one of the great strengths of CCA. And I think we've all missed some of this CCA experience in the past year. Those times when we can get together, network, tell a story, share a success, and even argue a point among friends and colleagues who share a passion for the industry. When you adopted the new bylaws at the special general meeting in September of 2019, the change came with a promise. The promise is to continue looking for opportunities to improve the way CCA works. In the first year in the new structure, your board, national advisory councils, local association partners, and CCA staff did a great job making the new structure work. You've heard Mary, our president, talk earlier today about some of the things CCA has gotten done for members and stakeholders in a pretty tough and unpredictable year. There have been some great successes, and there have been some lessons learned. As we move into this new year, the promise stands to look for opportunities to keep improving the way CCA works and leverage the strengths of the association, where the many voices and interests of our industry feel they are heard and involved. One of the things we're working on for the first half of the year, borrowing loosely from lean construction principles, is to create a CCA big room. Staff is working on how to do this, but the idea is to create virtually a venue in 2021 for the directors, members of the national advisory councils, and perhaps a cross-section of members who might not otherwise participate directly in the board or an NAC, to have a conversation about a few important national issues, share perspectives, and generally add to the richness of the dialogue that drives CCA's strategy and business priorities. It may not be perfect in a virtual setting, but I'd like us to do our best to try to add to the CCA experience in 2021, even if we can't do it together. CCA's strategic plan is current and clear, and Mary and her professional staff continue to do an exceptional job managing your association. Your board provides strategic oversight, accountability, and guidance for your president and staff to keep the strategy relevant and the priorities focused. As we move into 2021, I'd like to highlight a couple of these priorities. Firstly, the importance of a long-term federal infrastructure investment plan. This is a key strategic priority for CCA in the next advocacy bucket. It's not just an academic exercise for politicians and policy advisors. How can we get more projects into the market in a more predictable and sustainable way? Federal, provincial, and municipal governments need to build things to deliver services: healthcare, education, recreation, law enforcement, defense, and others. They also build things that support the business of Canada: networks of roads and rail, shipping and air, energy and power networks, water and wastewater facilities, broadband, and many others. With a line of sight and confidence in good public infrastructure, private businesses and their investors build the things they need to support growing businesses, creating employment and opportunity. In other words, a lot of public infrastructure needs to get built and maintained, and this is a catalyst for lots of private sector things to get built. When more projects, public and private, are coming to the market in a more predictable and transparent way, we can make better decisions for our businesses and create the capacity to build Canada's public and private infrastructure over the long term. We don't need perfect, we need better. A long-term federal infrastructure plan that is evidence-based, better aligned with the needs and priorities of provincial and municipal governments, and has a clear and uncluttered funding mechanism. This will bring more public and private projects to the market in a more predictable flow. And that's good for our industry, and it's good for Canada. So why do we need to focus on this now? Well, under the Investing in Canada plan, that $180 billion over 12 years we hear about $33 billion is allocated to fund infrastructure work through bilateral agreements with the provinces. So far, only $181 million has been spent, half of 1%. About two-thirds, $23 billion, hasn't been approved for projects and is stranded. For BC, for example, $1.9 billion of its provincial allocation has not yet been approved in projects. For Saskatchewan, only $100 million of the $1 billion allocation has been approved for projects. Why? Well, the funding mechanism is cluttered. The priorities among governments are not aligned. The Infrastructure Canada website provides summary data on the status of the program, and it's disappointing. Governments need to do better. We need to help and to hold them accountable. As CCA takes this message to government, through your membership and involvement in CCA and your local construction association, you have direct influence on getting more projects into your market in a predictable and transparent way. I'd also like to spend a few minutes on our diverse and growing workforce. Like many important things, there are many perspectives. There are compelling ethical and moral reasons for our industry and our society to embrace our diversity. There are compelling personal reasons. There are compelling business reasons. Increasingly in our businesses, we all aspire to a higher standard in corporate social responsibility, an environmental, social, and governance issue, the so-called CSR and ESG factors. There are also compelling reasons for growing our workforce. Even with advances in technology and productivity, our industry simply needs more skilled and experienced people in many sectors and regions. For your company, recruiting skilled, experienced people at all levels can be challenging. It's very difficult for any of us independently to grow the pool of new talent. And if the pool of talent isn't growing, then we're stuck in a rut of trading up and down, driving up costs, and more importantly, treating people like a commodity. Working through your membership and participation in CCA and in your local construction association, you can help to grow the pool of diverse talent and help get yourself and our industry out of the rut. CCA's Talent Fits Here initiative, with its positive messaging, engaging materials, and video kit, is an outstanding first step. It's available to support you and our local association partners in encouraging more people from every background to consider construction as a challenging and rewarding career. The Government of Canada's so-called Community Benefits Initiative is a quantitative, target-based approach, an attempt to force diversity in the workforce on federal and federally funded projects. It requires targets, mandatory reporting, and in some instances, quotas for employment of federally targeted groups. Provincial and municipal government agencies have discretion to decide how to implement this on projects, and many are taking the federal initiative as a signal to pursue other community benefits as part of their tenders and procurements. A priority for 2021 then is to get a commitment from the federal government to work with CCA and other industry stakeholders on qualitative initiatives. We've had the dialogue in the past, but it seems to get swept up in other government storylines and more recently, targeted plans. As we talk about infrastructure investment in a post-pandemic economy, we're asking government to commit to working with industry to increase the number of people from all backgrounds pursuing careers in construction. If the hiring pool is bigger and more diverse, I think we'll all be proud to see our workforce better reflect the people of Canada. And these are just two of CCA's priorities. These are national issues that are important to companies in all regions, sectors, and all sizes and scale. And your membership and participation in the CCA and in your local construction associations is an efficient and powerful way for you to directly influence the success of your own business and the industry. I'd like to close on a point I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks. CCA is the place where the many voices and interests within our industry come together to network, to learn from each other, discuss important and sometimes controversial issues, and to pursue new ideas. We find the balance and compromises at our own industry table, and then deliver clear, unified messages on national issues for our industry. This, and the opportunity to share stories, successes, and celebrate the achievements of our industry, this is the magic and the value of the CCA. I invite you to be involved. Bring your knowledge, your experience, your resources, your insight, and your judgment to the national table. It's a big table, and there's a seat for you. We have challenges ahead, but we have more opportunities. Working together helps everyone succeed. So while I can't predict the future, I can promise that I'm committed to doing everything I can to help the CCA in helping our members and partners build a better Canada.